talking about business, I know many businesses struggle with building brand awareness, and that is a hot topic for many entrepreneurs. What strategies have worked best for 2MamaBees to stand out in such a competitive market?
I need to think of it as a consumer. So Saks Fifth Avenue, for example, when you think of Saks Fifth Avenue, you think you're going to get a luxury product, right? And you don't always know the brand name. I could walk in and buy a pair of jeans and they could be really cute, right? I don't know the brand name, but I can confidently say that if they're sold at Saks Fifth Avenue, I am probably getting a luxury product that is well made, of good quality, and they're going to last for a long time. Saks has created that. They've already spent decades and decades creating that consumer awareness to who they are and what they sell.
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Golden LLama Show. Today we have Juliana Vanlanen with us. Started a company called 2MamaBees, which is a leading 8-time award winning manufacturing company specializing in luxury playhouses, swing sets, and children toy houses. Thank you for being with us, Juliana. And let's start with something fun. If 2MamaBees could create a playhouse for one mythological figure, who would it be and what would it look like?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I would say a unicorn. Maybe that's a little generic, but I think it would be so fun. Most of our playhouses are like standard white and black. So how fun would it be to like have it multicolored and rainbow and over the top with glitter and sparkles? That would be so fun to create and see. I don't know how receptive the market would be to it, but I would love it in my own backyard.
I think unicorns would sell as good as llama would, but llama have that unique set of skills, and he is just an attraction magnet for huge sales. So you should reconsider on having llama in your toy repertoire.
What would our llama playhouse look like?
I believe it would be full of wonders, and it would be a child favorite from day one. The
Yes.
amount of fun you can have with llama. Just imagine being a kid, 5 years old, on the playground and saying, "Listen, guys, I have my own llama. Beat that. Nobody can." Anyway, your journey from the backyard project to being featured in over one prestigious retail location is incredible. Can you share one moment that made you think, wow, we're really doing this?
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on the show too. I guess a kind of made it moment was Target. When we were in Etsy shop, we used to have to drive from Target to Target, picking up our now competitors' playhouses to hand paint and flip. That's how our Etsy shop operated. And we used to drive and just like dream and talk. I'm talking about myself and my business partner about what if one day 2MamaBees is in Target. So when we launched in Target, I think that was really like the moment that was, oh my gosh, like this is real. This is really happening. This is really like our dreams are coming true.
You manifested your dreams into reality.
We did. You're right. You're right. We did.
What was the intention behind starting 2MamaBees?
So originally the intent, well, let me just back us up a little bit. So when we started 2MamaBees, I was working corporate America, and my best friend from childhood is also my business partner. And she at the time had 3 kids. I had 2. Now between the two of us, we have 8. So we've added 3 more. But her son was born and he was diagnosed with autism when he was about 3. And it was a difficult time during her life to just find her footing and where she fit in as her role as a mom during that process. So her husband came to me and said, Sam just needs to make $100 a week, something for her. I don't even care how much money she makes, just something that makes her feel like she's doing something for herself and she feels whole again. So that's what sparked the Etsy shop. And then it far succeeded and surpassed every dream we had for what our little Etsy shop would become. And we've just stayed on the ride with it. And like you said, manifested a lot along the way. And it has exceeded all of our expectations thus far and really become a brand that we're so proud to stand behind.
Wow. So from online shopping to Target, what a journey. And might know nothing about it, but I expect that balancing motherhood and building a business isn't easy. What's your secret to juggling the chaos of entrepreneurship with the demands of parenting? Any hilarious mom entrepreneur moment that you can share?
I don't know. Some people might find it funny. We do it now. We look back and laugh. So we started our Etsy shop in late 2000 and actually were pregnant at the same time. So we gave birth to little girls a day apart. Their names are Rain and Aviana. And I was actually supposed to be watching all of Sam's kids, like babysitting them while she was in the hospital recovering. So I took all the kids to school and then I go to hold the baby, my new goddaughter, and I'm in the hospital and all of a sudden I'm holding the baby and contractions start. And I'm like, Samantha, I think I'm going into labor. And she's, nope, you can't go into labor yet. I have to be here for 2 more days. So you're watching my kids. And I'm like, I don't think I can stop labor, Samantha. I think I have to go have this baby. So I drove up the street to the hospital I was giving birth at. And sure enough, I gave birth to Aviana that night. So the girls are literally within like 16 hours apart from each other. And Sam came waddling in my hospital room a couple days later, holding Rain to meet Aviana. And we were back at work about 48 hours later in a warehouse. So when people ask how you juggle, I think it all comes in seasons because I didn't have any boundaries. We had no boundaries when the girls were babies. We were operating 2 warehouses where we were hand painting playhouses, and we didn't really have the ability to scale back at that time, at least not our personal interaction with how we were building 2MamaBees. But now, fast forward to October of 2021, we launched our own brand and we're manufactured by Amish artisans now. So I just think in entrepreneurship and even in motherhood, everything comes in seasons, and you just have to be willing to go through the motions of each one of those seasons, give everything the attention that it requires. Like a business is just like a baby. So it has its infancy stage and then it slowly progresses onto a toddler. And then one day you're like, hey, when did that thing start walking and running on its own? So that's where we're at now. And it's a much healthier dynamic. I would say I have a lot more free time to be able to put the phone and computer away for a few hours a night to really just focus on my kids. And I set those boundaries to make sure that everybody is getting as much of me as they possibly can.
You mentioned your business partner, Samantha. How much value and importance does it have to have someone on the same journey as you that support your goal and have the same vision?
I don't think we would have ever made it without each other in life too. We're best friends. So I know a lot of people are wary about going into business with their friends, but Sam and I are different enough and respect and admire each other enough that our friendship, it doesn't even have to take a back seat. We just find a way to make it important as well. But as far as 2MamaBees' success, the two of us are invaluable to the success of 2MamaBees in much different ways, in much different roles. We handle business much differently, and we naturally just fell into those roles, and we respect each other and respect each other's positions and what each one of us are feel more comfortable doing. So yeah, I wouldn't make it through life without Sam, let alone make it in business. And you're right, supporting each other's dreams is a huge part of that in all aspects of our lives, right? So not just in business, but in like our daily dreams as well.
Especially on those early stages when the business idea is nothing, just a seed that is about to be planted to the soil. One wrong move and all can be for nothing. So you need a proper level of care from, just as you mentioned it. The business can also be treated as a kid. So you need to put your attention, but the kid needs both parents, a mother and a father. So people with two completely different perspective. I believe if there are two people with the same perspective, the same skill, that means that there's one person more that there should be. And it's all about complementing our strengths and complementing our weaknesses. But To Mama Bees is all about creating luxury products that inspire creativity in children. How do you stay true to your brand authenticity while growing so rapidly?
I think interactions like this are really helpful to put a face behind the brand. I think that's what lacks a lot in like when you are purchasing from big box stores. A lot of times these brands become sterile. They become like shells of themselves, and it's hard to feel connected or related. And now with the way technology has moved and become so vast at everybody's fingertips, you have so much knowledge and information right in front of you that you are more wary about what you're buying. You're just more in tuned about what different chemicals are in your foods and what different chemicals are in your clothes and your products that you're buying. And when we're talking about our kids, it's like everything about it, you just want to you want to baby mit them. You want to help them and make sure that they're staying protected. So I think there was a lack of knowledge on the marketplace about toxins in chemicals that were being used in paint and different things like that. And so when we started this journey, our intent was to become the most non-toxic and the most giving back company that sells playhouses, but it's maneuvered that way because we're just constantly learning and growing and expanding our knowledge as well. So I think it's all of importance, right? Like all of it is important, and making sure that we're creating an atmosphere and a community where parents can find out that information and sharing it on platforms like podcasts. We have blog posts that we do. We're constantly trying to find ways to educate the market and let them know the information that we take a lot of time to research and understand and spend thousands of dollars learning more about, and finding ways to consolidate that so it's easy to digest. So think like small little reels, and it's just easier for people to understand. Nobody wants to read like a 12-page article. I do because it's my business, but how can I condense that down and make it easily digestible to consumers? And so I think the best way to do that is
And nowadays, it seems people are bombarded with so much information that it's very hard to digest consciously. I believe that the amount of data that we're supposed to analyze per day is approximately 74 gigabytes of data each day. The market itself is always about balance. There's going to be spikes when people would prefer to be bombarded with information. I believe that was before internet, and now after, where everything is so easy to access, people just focus on the value and realize that information is free, but that transformation is something that is actually what we're looking for. And talking about transformation. You have been on this journey for a while. The 2MamaBees is available in big names like Target and Walmart. So, how do you maintain that personal handcrafted feel that started on your Etsy days?
So one way that we were able to create that is through our manufacturing process. So originally our first run of playhouses were from overseas, and we checked off all the boxes. We did the quality control and everything that everybody says you're supposed to do, but it didn't tell the full story of what we wanted to create for our brand. In year one, we went back to the drawing board and we brought all our manufacturing back to America, and we teamed up with Amish artisans. So we are manufactured by second generation Amish artisans. And I think that really resonates and remains true to our backyard family based roots and how we're able to continue to scale while staying with that and maintaining that same quality is by we're not greedy. We're not in this to make a huge payday like year one. We want to create products that are going to be heirloom pieces that people can generationally use. So your kids can play on it. And then one day you can enjoy the same memories watching your grandkids play on it. And if that means that we say no to going into 10,000 stores and we pick 80 that are more select, that's what we do. And I think there is a level of just consciously making the decisions that we know will create longevity. And this brand means something to us. It's important to us. And it's important to us what we're doing and what we're building and the relationships that we've established. Our manufacturing team is important to us. They're like our family. So protecting them along the way is also a juggling act, if you will. Saying no to big deals is not always an easy decision, but I think it's necessary for the growth and the trajectory and the longevity of our company. So that's what's important to us, and just staying true to that. And that again just speaks on the authenticity of what we're doing. I could have an industry expert go on these podcasts because it's not something that I love to do. It's very intimidating a lot, but that wouldn't be authentic to our brand. It's important that it comes from me because I'm the one designing and creating the product. So shouldn't I be the one explaining where our heart is when we're doing it?
Personally, I believe that being authentic is the highest form of self love because you accept yourself as you are. And many people do forget that business is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And admire your courage to say no to those big deals when they don't align with you. It's something that I'm currently working on myself. But let's talk about the artisans behind the magic. How did you connect with the Amish craftsmen? And what role does their craftsmanship play in the uniqueness of your product?
I would say it's one of the biggest components of our unique selling proposition is the craftsmanship alone. To give you an example, our Rain two-story playhouse, weighs 535 pounds. Our competitors of the same size weighs 250 pounds. That's based on just the quality of the wood alone. We really think of everything, not only are our products obviously quality craftsmen, and I think a lot of people don't give Amish artisans the credit they deserve for the innovation that they create, but we just won Best Luxury Product by Innovation and Excellence magazine. And it was based solely on the fact that innovation doesn't always have to be technology based. Sometimes it can be going back to your roots. We have such a low carbon footprint, just to give you a quick stat. So our manufacturing facility emits less carbon emission in 1 month than it takes to bring one 40-foot high queue over from China. So we went back to the drawing board and said, this is innovative too, right? They're able to do this and create this quality and create this low carbon emission. And they do it without the use of all these exponentially fast and better, if you will, technology advancement. Aside from that, I would say, obviously, the personal relationship that we have with them is extremely important. But another innovative way that they are able to do things is we'll take a product to them and then we'll tell them, here are the weak points. Assembly. I am a consumer. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. My business partner has 5. I know the dauntingness that comes with having to assemble anything for my children. And when I open a book and it says it's going to take 4 to 5 hours, I shut it immediately and it sits in my garage for months because I don't have the time. And then the kid gets the product, but they don't actually get it because it's sitting in the garage and they're bothering me about putting it together. And I don't have 6 hours to commit to it. Our same range 2-story playhouse, which is our largest playhouse, takes 1.5 to 2.5 hours to assemble. Our competitors take 8 to 10. So there lies the innovation, right? So everybody thinks like, oh, Amish, they don't use technology. They don't need it. They are second generation, some of them third, fourth, fifth generation craftsmen. So they are able to take the skills that have been passed down generationally to them and create products and create innovative ways that we can design and make these products encompass all of the pain points that parents feel as consumers.
Focusing on pain points of your audience is obviously a big key of success. But I also wanted to point out that I believe, that's my own personal opinion, that if something is crafted by human hands, it has a soul. It has value because a person that crafted it put his intention onto it. A machine cannot do that. So
Mhm.
there will be always a huge advantage of doing things your own hand, or in this case, by hands of very skilled Amish craftsmen. And talking about business, I know many businesses struggle with building brand awareness, and that is a hot topic for many entrepreneurs. What strategies have worked best for 2MamaBees to stand out in such a competitive market?
So I like that you asked this question. I don't think anybody's asked it on any of the podcasts I've been on. So we really dove into our brand strategy. So we had our Etsy shop where we were actually revamping competitors' playhouses and on the back end creating our own. And we knew going out into the market, there's really nothing proprietary about what we do. Anybody could go design a playhouse. They would have to make it a percentage different than ours, but they could still paint it black and white. And at that point, then they could try to take over our market share. So Samantha and myself both said, year one, we need to hit the ground running, really getting into retailers. Our big mission year one was to create relationships with buyers. And thankfully, they were very receptive to our product, which made it a lot easier for us to get in 110 retailers. But I want you to even think about just how you as a consumer, and that's another thing that we constantly are doing, looking through the lens of a consumer instead of just, hey, I like this. No, I could like something and the market could hate it. So I need to think of it as a consumer. So Saks Fifth Avenue, for example, when you think of Saks Fifth Avenue, you think you're going to get a luxury product, right? And you don't always know the brand name. I could walk in and buy a pair of jeans and they could be really cute, right? I don't know the brand name, but I can confidently say that if they're sold at Saks Fifth Avenue, I am probably getting a luxury product that is well made, of good quality, and they're going to last for a long time. Saks has created that. They've already spent decades and decades creating that consumer awareness to who they are and what they sell. So if I'm now selling, and I've already built that same confidence in my consumer because they know they're shopping at a store that they can feel confident in buying from. So it wasn't about, and I think this is where a lot of people do this, where they'll say, we're just going to push product and do a ton of Facebook ads, right? And that does work. That it does. I'm not saying that it doesn't. It can work a lot of the time and make people very, very wealthy. But again, therein lies probably not the same mission that we have, which is to create longevity in a brand and a household name. So in doing so, we wanted to rely heavily on the market that has already created that awareness. They've already created that consumer relationship where people can confidently purchase through them. So really, year one, we didn't spend $1 in marketing, not one single dollar. And we just went straight to buyers. We went straight to buyers, straight to retailers, and said, do you want to sell our product? We'll send you samples. We will show you that what we're doing is valuable. We will show you that what we're doing is your consumers are going to love it. And so that was really how we built our initial traction. And then at the same time, now they're already selling our products. If somebody comes in and decides to try to create what we're doing, they're going to be a lot more hesitant to sell them on their website because they're already selling ours and they already have an established relationship with us.
That makes so much sense, especially if you already have that market share in the first place. There is no need for copycat. Starting a business with your best friend sounds like a dream or even a potential reality TV show. How do you both manage to keep the friendship strong while making big business decisions?
So one thing that I will say is Sam and I always show up for each other. Always. In business, there's some days where I'm like not all there and I'm like, hey, taking a time out, and she will pick up the slack and vice versa. And then we show up for each other just daily lives with our kids and the chaos of sports and running around to 50 different things. And we respect each other's boundaries. Samantha's very good at setting boundaries. And I hope she would say, and I think she would say, that I'm very good at respecting her boundaries. Aside from that, something that we started doing, because we haven't always lived in the same city the last couple of years, but now we're back both in South Florida. So we carve out like one day a week where we go to Pilates and lunch together, and we don't talk business at all. We just catch up on life. We had a good friendship prior. Like if something bad happens in my life, she's the first person I call. If something good happens in my life, she's the first person I call. That's never changed. Now I just get to open an email next to her and say, oh my gosh, it's good. And it's happening to both of us and for both of our families. And you're right, it does make it a lot more exciting. And building it alongside her, obviously, is, like you said, it's a dream. If you can do it the right way, if you are able to respect each other and keep that respect for each other's boundaries, then I've never had an issue building a business with my best friend.
Looking into the future, you obviously achieved so much already, but is there any project that fills your heart with passion?
All of our products, I should say, are named after our own children. And I touched on the fact that Samantha has a son, Makai, who has autism. So we are currently working with industry professionals. So there's two parts to what we're doing. One is we're creating marketing materials around how to play with your kids. So 2MamaBees' mission is to empower families through purposeful play. Well, how are we doing that, right? Like, how do we empower families through purposeful play? We know that we're creating products that, our one-story playhouse is almost 6 feet in height, so parents can comfortably play as well. But how do parents play with their kids? I think that's something that we're lacking as adults, like to remind ourselves how to play. And your kid's only job is to play. That's it. Like they learn everything from ages 1 to 5 through play. So imagine you buy an air fryer and it says, here's how to operate. And then in the back, it gives you a couple of recipes. We're creating the same thing where you'll get a little trifold in our product and it'll say, here's how to assemble. And then on the back, here's ways that you can play with your child with utilizing this product. And here's the milestones that you're helping them achieve. And not coming from myself and Samantha, because I didn't go to school to be a speech therapist. I didn't go to school to be an OT therapist. We are meeting with industry professionals who can actually teach us, and they're the ones who are sharing this information that we're utilizing and getting out the word to the masses about how do you purposefully play with your kids, right? And then on the back end, they're also having a say in helping us create the Makai, which will be a swing set. And this swing set will have portions of it that are directly pertaining towards children who have sensory issues, right? So if you're on the spectrum, maybe they have these specialized swings. So different things like that, but coming directly from industry professionals are helping us design and create this Makai. And when we launch it, a percentage of the proceeds will go to Autism Speaks in Makai's name as well.
Amazing. Purposeful play often leads to family memories. Can you share with us some of the most rewarding pieces of feedback that you've received from a family that used your product?
Oh my gosh, we have so many. We even have so many from Etsy too, just because that's like a platform where you really interact with your buyer. So on such like an intimate level, there's a lot of messaging that goes back and forth before they purchase. I would say, and not to lean heavy on an influencer, but she did just create the most beautiful reel and it brought us to tears when we saw it. And I think those are the memories that most to me as a parent is watching the joy in your child's eyes, like especially Christmas. It's just so she got a rain two-story playhouse, Melissa Morales, and she did this beautiful reel of her kids running out to the backyard with a giant red bow on it. And she still communicates with us on a regular basis and just says, I think it's her kid's favorite time of day is being out in the backyard. And I know for me, I am a heavy on less screen time type of mom. So anytime I'm like doing dishes in my kitchen and I'm looking in the backyard and my kids are all swinging and they're all playing, just even for me as a mom, like looking at those moments, they mean so much more to me than peeking over and seeing my kid on her iPad on the couch. Like I know she's making meaningful experiences alongside her siblings. Like her siblings are interacting and playing with her. Those are some of my fondest like memories of them as children and watching them play outside and being outside with them and playing with them as well, or probably vice versa. Some of their fondest memories with me too, when it's not silence, like we're actually all talking and we're communicating. And that's hard with technology, right? So finding ways to eliminate the technology so that you can reconnect as a family is huge for me.
The time that we spend with our family is priceless. You cannot buy time, and you cannot buy time with your family. So, for those inspired by your story and eager to bring a piece of 2MamaBees into their home so they can create some family memories, where can they find you and learn more about your luxury playhouses and toys?
So 2mamabees.com, the number 2, and then Mama Bees. And also, if you watch this episode, you can use the code LLAMA to receive 15% off any and all 2MamaBees products. And we just launched our London swing set, which is beautiful, great for indoor and outdoor play. It has a nest swing. So please feel free to use the code on that as well.
All of those links are underneath the video, so be sure to click them and show some love to Juliana. And Juliana, thank you for joining us. And thank you all around the world for listening and tuning in. Stay blessed, stay safe, and see you soon.